Kim, welcome day before the election. Of course, that's top of mind. How is that affecting how you go home today?
Well, I have some hedges on with the futures. So I'm long silver again.
That was a great trade. Kim was long last time she was here before the explosion.
Yeah,
Nice trade.
yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't know. I just have a feel for that, futures
Okay.
ticker
That
symbol.
was,
So
yeah, 32.5 was the level people were looking for. So, anyway, it looks like you have a
now
nice
I'm
little
long
lead.
again because it, broke back down to that level. It had that big
Right.
explosion and it came way back down. And
Yeah.
so now I'm long again. And then I'm short um some ESs in my long-term portfolio.
Oh, well, then that's a statement by that you have shorts on.
But I'm not
So
net short. I'm not
I
net
know
short.
it's a
Just
hedge.
yeah.
So I'm looking at the S&P chart, and to me, it looks like Wile E. Coyote sitting on a ledge here. Are you worried about an event, maybe some social unrest, or how do you think this is going to play out? Okay, so what are you going to do? You have S&P hedges on. Um, how did you play this Microsoft move that was huge? I know that for a contest you were long silver, and Microsoft was doing great. What was this, earnings?
Yeah, that was earnings. You have such a good memory. Wow. I'm still long silver in that competition portfolio and Microsoft, but that was really disappointing.
Yeah,
Um, they didn't have a horrible earnings, but I just kind of thought they've been consolidating for quite a while. And so I
yeah,
really thought we might get a breakout, but instead we got a breakdown. But basically it's still ranged where
yeah,
it's been trading.
yeah. I look at this, Kim, and look, I'll give you good luck on Microsoft by saying that I think this was the impulsive part of the move, and that all of this has just been correcting the oversold more in time than price. I'd sell rallies.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean Google had a nice earnings, but it broke out, but then it just kind of went back down
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
long
not great
Google in
action.
my yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
look,
not
it's
great
come down
action.
almost 20 points.
Yeah. Nvidia is trying to hold up, but it looks like a failing rally. Well, why are you? Is this the first time in your long-term account you put on S&P hedges?
No.
You
No,
know,
I do. I mean, one, we're at all-time highs, and that doesn't mean we're not going higher, right? But I
yeah,
think, there is risk in the market. You have the Middle East stuff going on. Not that that
yeah,
necessarily always brings our market down, but it's a potential risk. You have the election, which to me is the biggest risk. Although when you look at past election charts, the market keeps going straight up. That's why I like the futures, because if we have a big move overnight because it sways one way or the other, I can get out of it and be able to trade it versus trying to trade options. I think the options are hard during this time because you got to pick the right strike, you got to pick the right timing of it. And I think we're just going to have big volatile moves either way. So I'm hoping to capture some of that downside. I
okay.
could be wrong, but if you look at 2020, the futures overnight were making big swings.
Oh, 2020. Yeah, I remember more 2016.
That one
Uh,
was, I was short that time
yeah, okay.
and it moved 700. I think the NQ moved 700 points down and then went straight up.
Yeah.
So
When I look at this S&P pattern, it's a three drive, and look at how much momentum was lost on this last drive. RSI could not get above 70, where on the prior two highs, we were, almost 80. Good momentum. you could barely tell there was a divergence here. You need your cursor. So, but this is glaring
That looks
between
bearish.
between these two. That's pretty glaring.
Hmm.
So, yeah, 2 week reversal. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a surprise. I wasn't looking for a huge break here. I still thought we could go to 6,100, but I'm keeping an open mind. I'm in
Yeah, no, I
SPQ.
agree. I think, going up to 6,000, I think we talked about that last time. Um, was and that's why, when COVID happened, for example, I wasn't net short, but I was close. Um, to me, that was just glaring that we were going to get and I was ahead of that curve. The minute that I heard about it breaking out in China, I started going short. I started layering in.
Yeah,
This time I'm not positioned like that. I don't know if I just know more now and maybe I'm more wise, even though I did really well back in the COVID time. Uh, yeah, but I'm also trying to diversify. I bought TLT again.
yeah. Decent day yesterday.
Yeah, I bought it Friday, um,
Okay.
and added that back in. And I did that trade I don't know, we talked like maybe 6 months back.
Yeah,
And then
you
I got
caught it
out of
well.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I'm back in that again.
You're a good trader, Kim.
Oh, thank you.
You are. Um, and that's why I want to ask you a question. I know I'm supposed to be, asking you for what you think, and I'm going to ask you. I think that there's a big trade setting up in nat gas. Do you trade any equities that are related to it, or to take advantage of nat gas? I think there's a
So
pretty good story developing there.
I have traded the nat gas futures.
Oh, okay.
Um, there's the NG, I believe, and the MNG, and there's another one. I can't remember which one it is. Um, and I agree with you. You're thinking it's going up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
keep making higher lows. The weekly pattern's good. It's held up with WTI getting smashed. Um, that guy Doomsburg is very bullish based on the story of it being the bridge for energy for AI because nuclear
oh,
is not ready.
yep, that makes
So
sense.
so here's the daily. We keep putting in higher lows. This looked orderly, and let's see the weekly. So I'm just looking for ideas that could different instruments that I could position myself in.
Yeah, no, I think that's a
That's
good idea.
related.
It always struggles at that $3 mark.
Yeah,
Like even on your chart, you see like it goes
yeah,
up towards there and then it just gets kind
yeah,
of smacked back down.
yeah.
I'm talking specifically about the futures.
Okay,
But I think
this
you're
is it.
looking at,
This is spot.
yeah,
Okay, so I'm looking at four. Why can't we just have some type of correction? And this is a long base. It goes back to the end of 22 when the stock market topped. So it hasn't done anything in 2 years except be accumulated, in my view. This is accumulation, in my view. Can you have
yeah,
one dramatic, flush to get everyone out? Yeah, but that may not happen. So you have at least a toe in the water.
yeah,
Um, anyway, that's something I'm thinking of. I agree with what you're doing in the bonds, and that should take the yen lower. I'm calling this, they're like joined at the hip now, Kim. What the yen does and what
the
yields
bonds.
do. Yeah. So I'm calling the yen wily.
Ah, I like
Ever
that.
ever hear of a wily?
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, there you go. Now, does that look like a ledge or what?
That does. It looks like a cliff.
Yeah. All
He was
right. Well, yeah, it does. I mean, well, underneath this moving average, I think the 200 day will be a magnet. Um, so What are you looking for, Kim? I mean, you don't have to tell us who you're voting for, but tell us how you think this is going to play out. Any ideas?
Well, I'm in psychology. I'm a counselor and I teach
Yeah.
psychology. And the American Psychology Association came out with a study last week that basically said that 70% of Americans see this election as a significant stressor. And when we say in psychology, significant stressor, that means like it's affecting your life, right?
Right.
It's affecting maybe your sleep or your ability to focus. And I found that fascinating because I think, there is a lot of angst, right? Um, I I think personally, I think the whole thing has been unfortunate. Um, Trump didn't debate and Kamala didn't go through a primary, right?
Hmm.
So I think the American people are the ones that, get the worst end of this because in both parties, they didn't really get to see all candidates that were available
Right.
and make that decision. They, in my opinion, they were kind of appointed by both parties, right? Um,
Okay.
so, I will save my opinion because I just think it's so volatile.
It is.
My basic goal
It's
is,
divided up families.
yep. And I think it's more the anticipation of what's going to happen versus what really happens afterwards. Um, you know, for as much negative talk as has been about Biden, our stock market is at basically all-time highs, right? So I think if you look over time, no matter if we're talking specifically about the market, if you look over time, markets always go up and they go up under both, Republicans
Exactly.
and Democrats.
Yeah.
And so you may see a flush either way when, one of them gets in. And I don't think that that's abnormal or out of the realm either. And every president that is in has maybe doesn't have a black swan, but has some big move down. And Trump did too. I specifically remember 2018, December 24th. It was the worst down move on Christmas Eve since 1931. And I remember being like, I actually got long and S&P triple leveraged
Yeah.
that day. And so, but memories are short and people forget. And then the market, he kind of twisted Powell's arm because Powell was raising interest rates at the time. And you know, Powell acquiesced and the market went back up, right? So he had
Right.
his moves down as well pre-COVID. I'm not talking specifically about COVID because I think that was an anomaly, right? That was your black swan. And I don't think most presidents, whoever's in charge, can anticipate a black swan. That's why it's called a black swan. 9/11, the housing bubble.
Yeah. That you bring up the housing bubble. That mess was laid upon Obama shortly after inauguration. It started. So the beginning of his presidency was during the onset, or maybe even when the financial crisis was peaking. So
Yeah.
they're all tested
Yeah.
early. So I'm sure there's
Yeah.
going to be another test in January.
Well, remember, Bush reached out, and this is what I wish could happen again. Bush reached out to Obama. I
Yes,
think it was once Obama was elected,
yes,
Bush reached out to him
yeah. They
to help with the financial
transition.
transition. They sat together
Yeah,
and made a plan together for how to get the banks from failing. So whether
yeah.
whether we agree with how it happened or not, the point is you had both sides sitting in a room and
Working together.
Bush didn't just say, well, you know, who cares? I'm going to leave this mess for you when you get in.
Yeah.
He met with him 2 months early. I remember
Yeah.
those pictures. And, that's where I really wish that we could come to, because nobody is going to, I, I'm not going to like the
Tip
policy.
O'Neill and Reagan having a drink together.
How about Newt Gingrich, which he's not my favorite, by the way, and Bill Clinton, who balanced the budget?
Yeah.
There's not even any talk about balancing the budget. I mean, that's the last time the budget was balanced.
Yeah.
And they were enemies, basically,
Right. Right.
politically.
Yeah.
But
Came
they
together.
they came, yeah, after
It
Bill Clinton.
wasn't dysfunctional, divided, polarity, all this stuff. Kim, what a great way to go into, I'm saying, talk about turnaround Tuesdays. This is turnaround Tuesday. But for us all to hope, regardless of the outcome, that, people are saying stock up on food in case,
I did.
violence breaks out. Did you? Are you
Yeah.
stocked up?
Yeah, but I'm in a very safe area here. So I'm not
Yeah.
like worried particularly about where I live, but I have um three of my older kids live down in LA. So
Oh,
that is more where
yeah.
at the end of the day, we have to give up. Compromise, working together means you have to give up something to get
Yeah.
something.
Compromise. Right.
And I was
Yeah.
on school board. I was an elected official. And that was the biggest learning thing for me was, you know what? You have to find a middle ground somewhere to move forward. If you can't ever find a middle ground in a relationship in whatever, you're never, in a marriage, if you can't find a middle ground, you're going to
Yeah.
end up divorced, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
what's happening to this country right now. They're ending up divorced because there isn't a way to find a middle ground.
Okay. Well, at
That's
times when,
my soapbox
okay.
today.
Okay. I think it's great because, some of some marriages have been on the brink and there's been reconciliation. So, you know what? I think that we all need to still hold on to hope.
Yep.
Not trade with hope, but hope is the oxygen in our lives and the carbon monoxide in our trading. But why not hope that maybe we just have to go through the worst of it before we get back there? But um,
Think of
uh,
9/11. You think of
yeah,
Gore
yeah,
and
yeah.
and uh
It's a
who Gore
different
and Bush.
country.
It was no, it was bad then. I remember the anxiety back then
Yeah,
of, the votes being counted and recounted.
the
And
Chads.
nine
Yeah.
eleven is what brought this country together. Sadly, it took that kind of an event. So let's hope we don't repeat something like that and we come together before we have an event that brings us together. And as it relates to the
Amen.
market, let's keep the market going up.
The Kim never very detached, not talking her book at all. Pleasure to talk to you on this historic day, Kim. Really. Appreciate you being here. And you have my vote for being the leader of traders on FinTwit.
Well,
Whatever that
thank you.
title would be, you're at least a very good diplomat. So great to have you here, and thanks for reminding us what we have forgotten.
Thank you so much, Dale. You're one of my very favorite people.
Oh gosh, you can't. I'm not on camera, but I'm blushing, and really, thank you so much, Kim, and looking forward to talking to you again after the dust settles. And um, I still think you should start your own spaces on
Thank
Twitter.
you so much.
All right, good hunting, my friend. My trading warrior sister, Kim. Mama Investor, follow her on X. She's very active in different spaces and hangs out with talented people. Uh, you know, uh, the law of attraction. So, good traders attract other good traders. So that's a wrap, everyone. You could join the team in 15 minutes. Good luck tonight. Be careful. I can guarantee you that the markets will be here. They're not going to be shut down. Make sure your equity is. So if you have to sit it out, S&Ps are fading pretty good. I think that Wile E. Coyote is going to take out the ledge. We'll see it tomorrow morning. See
Bye-bye.
everyone later. Remember. Oh, you're welcome, Alexander, everyone. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Find something to be grateful for. Don't just dwell and ruminate, okay? From someone who who ruminates. All right? Adios, everyone.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Forex Analytics. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.